There are some people on my page that I can see that are coming to know the Lord, that are struggling, but are seeing in that darkness a light, a hand reaching down, and they're reaching out to that hand so that they can be pulled out by the Lord. And I just want to be helpful to you. See, I was a person that when I went to church, I was living with some people from a church after I ran away from home. I went to the church and I learned that I was a sinner. And I asked for forgiveness of my sins. And I wanted to be forgiven for my sins. And I believed that I was a sinner. And I thought that was good enough. And I went along my life and I stayed in my sin. I continued to sin. I committed adultery. I hated. I had a lot of sin on my life. I was greedy, selfish, egotistical, self-centered, a lot of things. And one day I'd created a business, a family. I lived in a very nice neighborhood. I was an all-star coach. I had all these things going for me. And due to my own fault, due to my own choices, my own consequences, it all came crashing down. And prior to this, I kept talking to the Lord and said, Lord, when I get it all straightened out, when I get it all together, when I have myself self-sufficient, then I'm going to come and I'm going to work for you. Because that's the kind of Christian that I was. I was always the one dictating the relationship, dictating how my salvation worked, dictating how I was going to walk, how I was going to live. But when everything came crashing down, all of my plans were broken. Everyone turned against me. When I no longer could do it my way, when I had nothing, that's when the Holy Spirit started to talk to me. And he said, you know, one day, Don, you're going to stand before God, and he's going to know your mind, your heart, everything about you. And I saw in the scriptures where Jesus said it's better to negotiate along the way and work out your transgressions before you get to the judge, because once you get to the judge and the case is heard, you're going to be condemned for your transgression. And the Lord spoke to me. He said, just cry out and ask him to forgive you. Every night, every sin, every individual moment, every instance of sin, not just, Lord, forgive me for being an adulterer, that one time and that one time and that one time, and when I lusted there and when I did this and when I did that. It took me 2 weeks. Until at the end of that 2 weeks, I couldn't think of anything to ask for forgiveness for. Because I realized at that point that I was actually forgiven. I finally accepted his forgiveness because I had nothing else to hold on to. I surrendered my life to him because I had nothing to hold on to. There was actually nothing to surrender. It was trash of my life that I was surrendering to him. And he made me whole, and he redeemed me, and he sanctified me, and he saved me.